Hello, I'm Laura Copley-Smith and Fiona Adams is with me today, and we are talking about women and money. And today our topic is around spirituality and birthing your uniqueness into the world and making money with that. So thank you, Fiona, for being with me today.
Oh, Laura. I was thinking of this topic because I've noticed so many talented people seem to struggle to make ends meet financially, and they just want to gift whatever they're giving to the world. It seems to me a lot of them have limiting beliefs around making money, that they're doing their passion, whatever it might be, and giving to people, but not being able to charge enough or figure out how to make enough money around it. And I can also see moving into your own business takes a lot of skill as well, pricing yourself, working out how to do it so you can make a decent income. And then particularly in that sort of spiritual realm, people don't generally want to pay a lot of money, to be honest. So it's like, how do you figure out, do you gifting, it might even be massage, I'm talking about spiritual world, but you know, those sort of gifting type businesses and still make ends meet, or not even make ends meet. They have a right to live a good quality life.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at the sort of the whole spiritual, and I mean, for me, I would put, creativity as an aspect of that, that there's lots of different beliefs, isn't there? There's people who believe that if you've got a spiritual gift, you should be bringing it in the world, and it's a gift, so you don't charge for it at all. That I actually know people who have that belief, and have no money because they're just gifting their amazing gift to people to support people on their own journeys. I think there's also a belief that sort of spiritual endeavors, spiritual workers, healers, that money is the creator of all evil, and that's tied up with the fact that it is used in certain arenas for not such great things. So they see it, I know people who see it as a low vibrational energy, and then there's people who see it as a good vibrational energy. So there's a real kind of mess, isn't there, that's going on there. Whereas we know that if you are earning a good living, that you can actually use that money in a spiritual, creative way to contribute to the world. So money is definitely not evil.
And from the other perspective too, if you're struggling just to pay your electricity bill and your water bill, it's going to put stress on you. So it's going to make it harder for you to be in that really nice space to do whatever spiritual work you're doing. Whereas if the money flows easily, you can pay your bills easily, it's going to be so much easier for you to do that service to people, whatever your business is.
Yeah, because you're going to be very, very much more aligned with your true, unique ability in the spiritual and the healing realm, and be able to let that energy flow into the world and help other people, when you're not in that money stress state. And I mean, just share with us about, the what you brought into the world, or what you still do, and where your focus was, because we all have talents, and as you say, in the business world, a lot of us don't. We have a mission, but we haven't got all these other abilities, like getting the money, and the value and the business acumen. We have to learn a lot of those skills along the way.
That's very true, because I came from an education background and decided I wanted to do lots of natural therapies for horses. I had no idea about business. I just jumped in and started helping horses with herbs, and then learnt various different modalities, you know, Emmett and Bowen and Reiki and acupressure and all these other modalities to help the horses. But along the way, I had to learn business skills. It was sort of a sideline just so that I could pay my bills. But people, I think a lot of people in that sort of giving type of business forget that they need to learn the business skills. And then even a little bit of lateral thinking. So for example, I might go and do a whole bunch of horses rather than driving from one property to another because it's not as economical. So I might do some sort of business deal to go and do a whole bunch of horses. And now I'm doing more courses too. So that's a different way of making money, but still a service. But if I've got 10 people and I'm doing a course, I'm making a good income, but it's not costing them a lot. And I'm doing online courses as well. It's taken me a long while to figure out other ways to make a decent living, but still be of service. So there's a lot of lateral thinking to actually bring in a decent income.
And so it's not just about your, you know, that spiritual mission or that creative mission. It's figuring out the whole scaling of it, utilizing your time in the best way, and learning about the money side and your own owning your skills and valuing your skills and learning the whole.
And I know very early on I didn't charge enough. And that was a real struggle. But over time now I've come to realize, and I charge a good good price now, not over the top, not too low, that, you know, covers all my costs and gives me some income. But it's taken me a long while, and I know that underneath there I had to deal with a bit of self-worth. I felt very uncomfortable asking people for money because I'd come from a job where the pay just went in the bank. So I had to get over the feeling uncomfortable with asking for people, you know, asking people for the money, even accepting the money. I really had to battle with all those sorts of limiting beliefs, I guess.
Well, we all have them. I think for me, you know, when I look back at why I came in, why I moved into garden design, it was a deeper mission that I had, which was wanting to create beauty in the world for other people to experience. So it was a more spiritual sort of mission in knowing the healing capacity and the importance of being in nature, and even if it's in a very structured garden. And that was my driver, you know, through garden design was the route for me at that time. And I didn't at the beginning, I never really thought particularly about the money. When I came to start pricing myself for design work, I was thinking, I haven't a clue. I wasn't even, you know, it wasn't even a part of when I went to retrain or restudy at horticultural college and do a design course. It wasn't even part of that. So it is, you come in with this mission and then stumble and realize that you have to learn all of these other skills and realize your own value in that.
And so over the years, what sort of skills would you suggest people learn for building a business? Just give me a few ideas. I've got a few ideas in my head, but what would you suggest?
I think that you know, you might have an idea that this is how you're going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. But I think really being open to this, there could be multiple ways that you actually work. And I think being open is really important, because you allow new ideas to come in of maybe, for me, it wasn't just about doing design and being involved from start to finish. It was also, I could be doing design work and handing it over to contractors if that was, if in certain circumstances, I could be doing consultancy work. I could even be doing telephone consultancy. And it's giving yourself a level of flexibility that you can actually bring your skills and earn money from your skills in numerous ways, as opposed to this is the only way that I work. I think that's quite limited, isn't it, in today's world, really.
I agree. There's a friend of mine who's got the most beautiful voice, and she does song circles, and she charges sort of a reasonable amount per person, but with the number that she gets, say 20 people, then that's a good income for a couple of hours. So she's worked out and that's just part of her income, but she's worked out different ways of doing that. And also I notice I'm flexible, so I work on horses, I teach things about natural horse, healing. And so not so long ago, someone asked me about teaching Reiki, which has been in the back of my mind, but I hadn't actually gotten around to do it. But because that came to me, it worked really fluidly. And yeah, a whole bunch of people came along and it worked really well. So it is being open to various different things. So maybe groups, I'm doing online, teaching online, looking at what's out there and seeing what you can do. And if you don't have the skills, so for example, to build an online course, you go and learn how to build an online course. That's part of it too. It's like you might want to, I'm about healing horses, but along the way, I've had to learn the skills to build an online course, which I enjoy. I enjoy that sort of thing. But you need to learn those skills along the way to help your business along the way as well. And marketing, internet marketing. I know you said you went to a lot of trade stands. I've done a lot of courses and learned a lot on internet marketing. It is huge, and it's a discipline. You might want to be a massage therapist, but you're going to have to learn a little bit about Instagram and Facebook and anything else that suits your business. So there is a bit of discipline behind it too. How am I going to get the clients? What am I going to do? Read some materials, YouTube, maybe do a couple of cheap little courses on how to build your business. But I do think you need to do the hard yards as well as the whole beautiful spiritual gifting. It's a bit like, what they talk about after enlightenment, cart water, chop wood. That all goes with it. The workload goes with the spiritual side of things.
And very often, that finished piece, it's like the same in a garden, that whole finished composition or multiple compositions, there's all of the work that goes behind it. And of course, we can so easily get caught up with our mission, whether it's spiritual, creative, and then don't want to do all the business side, but it's essential. You can't bypass it, really. So
it's discipline that you need to do. The discipline, you need to work the work.
And certainly when you work for yourself, there is no way around it. I think also, as we're talking about women and money and relationships, it's essential that you do look at your relationship with money, and that whether it's a good thing or whether it's a bad thing, that I mentioned at the beginning, and your patterns that we've been talking about in this series, of what we carry forward from our parents, that needs to be looked at, and if it isn't a healthy paradigm, then the inner work is necessary, isn't it, to be able to
definitely
to be able to move forward.
Definitely, like my overgiving. If I overgive when I'm doing the horse work, I'm not going to make enough income out of it. I have to price things well. You just can't do it. You've got to be able to make ends meet. You've got to be able to pay your bills.
And I think also in birthing businesses into the world, you've got to be prepared to have those difficult conversations, whether they're with suppliers or clients, or people who are in the process of the creation, whatever that is, you know, you are going to be having tough money talks at some point along the way. Some of those talks might be with yourself, but some of them are definitely going to be with other people, and they can make you feel really uncomfortable until you grow into a bigger person around those
I
conversations.
think you're totally right. It's about that growing. You know, now I'll get people to pay before I post the herbs. In the early days, I'd post them and hoped people would pay their invoices, for example. So yeah, it's just you get used to doing that. And it may be uncomfortable at first, but after it just becomes a sort of a natural habit to have those conversations and know that you deserve to have people pay those bills.
And I think, you know, that it brings us back to the fact that, you know, the relationship of women and money, or women in business, whatever that business is, and the spiritual aspect of what, you know, the mission of why you're doing what you're doing, you know, it is a growth, isn't it? It is a journey of growth. And it can be tough along the way. However, it is incredibly rewarding because you're stepping into a deeper level of self along that journey.
That's so true. And you have to face all the emotions and uncomfortable feelings and face your habits from childhood. So to do it well, you have a lot of growth.
Could we end on a bit of tapping around this topic today?
Yes, so we could do one about something like even though I have a limiting belief around being spiritual and having money, would that be one? I totally, completely, utterly love and approve of myself. Even though I have a limiting belief about being spiritual and earning good money,
a limiting
I
belief.
totally, completely, and utterly love and approve of myself. So even though, front of the head, I have a limiting belief about being spiritual and earning good money, I totally, completely, and utterly love and approve of myself. Even though I've had this limiting belief around being spiritual and earning good money, I totally, completely, and utterly love and approve of myself. And I now release this limiting belief about being spiritual and working spiritually and not having money, releasing this limiting belief now, and completely and utterly love and approve of myself. And I can earn good money and be spiritual. And I completely and utterly love and approve of myself. And a deep breath in. And releasing, letting go of the old, outdated, limiting belief. And another deep breath in. Releasing the old, outdated, limiting belief. And bringing in a new way of earning good money.
Thank you, Fiona.
It's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, that is a good one. I think also it's a good one because people can be in all sorts of different businesses, but their passion behind it can have a spiritual aspect. They're doing this for this reason, and it may be, it could be anything, couldn't it? Meaning the actual
I agree. I've got a friend who's an electrician and he's very spiritual. And of course, he sees it as service and he does it with a very aware, conscious way when he connects with people. So he brings that spiritualness to an everyday type of business. So it doesn't always have to be someone that's doing a particularly spiritual type of business, but he still has to make good money.
And he wants to contribute in a good way into the world. So there is, you know, there's a deeper meaning to him for that. So yeah, I think that's a really good one. Okay, thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
being with
Lara.
me
Thank you.
today.
That was lovely.
And we'll speak
Thank you.
again.
All right.
Bye
Bye.
bye.